The reason why the West did so well, it was from the abundance of successful, high testosterone men that built the enormous society.
Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent.
I can't just sit by in a train while someone's getting beaten up.
I have approximately 13 cases open against me at Scotland Yard.
The one perfectly divine thing, the one glimpse of God's paradise given on earth, is to fight a losing battle and not lose it.
I will always speak up for them, and I will probably die trying.
It is heartbreaking to see that happen to the birthplace of democracy.
Yeah, there's several acts like the Online Communication Act. It limits what you can say, and the police would go to your door.
90% of Australia's fuel, it's refined in Asia, but these Asian countries get it from the Strait of Hormuz. When the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off, all the politicians are like, oh, it's the Russia-Ukraine war, you can blame Russia. All right, well, it was Israel that kicked this off with Iran, and now it's affecting us, and now I am forced to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 67 of the Ark podcast. And this week I've got another interview with Jade Warwick of the Warwick Report. And we caught up in Arizona late last year. We got on like a house on fire, you know, Aussie, Middle Eastern Aussie, and a British person. We got on very well in a sea of, what would you say, Americans, Yanks as I like to call them. But today I'm looking forward to doing this interview because Jade has a similar problem to me where she doesn't get interviewed by many people. She's normally doing a lot of segments and getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views a day on her videos. I want to delve a little bit more into who she is, why she believes the things that she believes, what are some of the experiences growing up that she saw in the UK. Again, the UK, it's a bit of a sad situation for a lot of us Aussies and a lot of Yanks looking at the UK being the birthplace of the Magna Carta, of democracy around the world, and a lot of our parliaments. So to see, you know, almost 15,000 people arrested for online posts, I think it's about 3,000 to 5,000 every year. It's a very sad situation. And so as a part of this conversation, I wanted to learn a little bit more about what informs Jade and exactly what she would like to see happen in a new country where she's now a citizen in the USA. So Jade, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Lovely to see you again.
It's always a pleasure. And I really did mean that every time. You know, it's so funny. After our last conversation, people were like, Joel, why do you like Jade so much? Because, and I said, you don't understand. We were at this Arizona conference. The vibe was weird. And I get it. Look, I'm the head of Turning Point Australia. It is, we are associated with the US, but we are independent as well. It was a weird vibe without Charlie there. And you and I, we just clicked straight away. And I was like, thank God there's someone that I can actually get on with while I'm here. And I guess I just wanted to ask you a little bit about, you know, what your background is, what some of the stories you've mentioned to me, but you didn't really get into. And it's sort of an opportunity for you to sort of show your audience a bit about who you are.
Wow.
And
Thank you.
so to welcome. So tell me, first off, why do you share my lack of self-preservation? Why are you talking out online? What was it for you that sort of flicked the switch?
I love that phrasing, lack of self-preservation.
Well,
Wonderful way
yeah.
of saying, Jade, you're on a lot of hit lists now because you run your mouth.
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny for someone that is more on the Republican conservative side. You know, I'm very much like a feminist, and I don't like to be silenced. I don't like men telling me what to do, the men in governments. I really only answer to God, like it's God first. So I just realized that last year there weren't enough people speaking up against what's happening in the UK. And there's a good reason for that. It's because if they do, they will get arrested. There's people in the UK who are like, what can I do if I say something online? Someone will report me. And then the police will show up at my door. Luckily, I live in the US, and it's weird. I don't really know. I know how I got here, but it didn't make sense at the time. I just sort of went with the flow. And it was definitely God putting me in America because I can now speak freely here on behalf of the Brits who cannot.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, my mission here. So self-preservation, God has my back.
Well, but it's not easy though. I mean, you've uprooted yourself. You've come to the USA for free speech and for this profession. Are you fearful of going back even now after everything you've said?
Oh yeah, of course. I haven't been back in the UK over a year. I wanted to go back for Christmas, but I was advised by several lawyers not to do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it is weird for us because we see people like that Korean guy that's he had bacon on his shoulders in one interview.
Ryan
If you know
Williams.
the guy. He went to the UK, and I have never seen him this startled
Yeah.
when he was there, and he didn't realize there was a cost
Yeah.
to free speech over there.
No, there definitely is. And Jonathan Cho, the Cho Show in Seattle, went along with him, covered it very well. And he will be releasing his own documentary on the free speech laws in the UK. So I'm very excited to see that. He interviewed me for that too, obviously while I was in the UK and while I was in the US because I can't be in the UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's several acts like the Online Communication Act, bullying and harassment, all these things, and it limits what you can say. So if you, for example, say, I don't like this Buddhist guy because he did X, Y, and Z, the Buddhist community could report you to the police and the police would go to your door. Thing is, they don't do that because they're very chill. However, if you say, hey, I don't like the Islamic community who really give in to political Islam, they want to, hide women, they want to censor them, they don't want to give them rights, they don't even let them drive or go out on their own. I don't think that's compatible with British values. If you say that there, oh my God, the community, they will report you and it will become a big case. So I have approximately 13 cases open against me at Scotland Yard.
Oh, wow.
From my sources there. So
right, I
I've
didn't know
said
that.
a lot.
Yes. And I mean, can they reach you? Can they reach you if you're in the USA?
So is there an extradition treaty? No. So as an American now, I'm protected by the Constitution. Even as a green card holder, you're protected.
Right.
So, yeah, they would have to treat me as an American. However, if I landed on British soil, I would be treated as a British national because I'm dual citizen. So it's just too risky. I want to see my family, but I can't.
Well, I'm worried about myself at times going over there, and I've barely touched the topic of Islam. And I say Islam because the top two most litigious groups in the political scene in the West right now is the LGBT community and the Islamic community, which is strange because they're at odds with each other.
Yeah, they both like mutilating children.
Yeah, and they never sue each other either. Like, you see Muslims, it's like it's totally at odds with the Islamic community, but you see like gays for Gaza and stuff. It's this strange alliance.
I'd love to see those gays go to Gaza, see what happens.
Yeah,
Wake up call.
Well, there's no more buildings to throw gays off anymore, so they just got totally flattened. No, look, it's terrible, but
say it how
and
it
look,
is.
we'll get into that. By the way, I'm hoping to talk a bit about what's going on with. It's quite topical right now with Iran, and it's just another to my family. I'm Lebanese and Syrian historically, but my grandfather came in the '60s to Australia. I mean, this is the Western intervention in the Middle East has decimated the Middle East, and it's emptying all the Christians out, it's emptying all the Muslims out, and it's putting them in non-compatible countries around the world in the West. But let's. So you've talked a lot about Islam in your videos. I want to understand where that comes from. What the sort of there's a saying, if you want to understand a person's worldview, look at where it was in around when they were 20 years old. What did you experience? Because you've mentioned a few times a lot of your friends, they've had brushes with Islam.
Yeah, it's not just 20. It started when I was around 10.
Right.
So I unfortunately developed at a very young age. So I started my periods when I was 10. I actually became, I think, a double D by the time I was 11. So I developed early. And I would walk around the city center with my granddad, and I noticed from a very young age certain demographics of men that would stare at me, and I was very uncomfortable, and my grandma would protect me and make sure I was okay. But But these men are taught very differently to how we are. You know, if you're brought up in the UK, it's like, okay, age of consent is 16, but it's common that you only date within a few years of, you know, your age. Whereas in the Middle East, you can have arranged marriages between a literal child and a 60-year-old man. So they don't have that moral compass that we do. It's just a fact. And then through my teenage years, I saw, you know, Angela Merkel open up the borders. Europe followed. The UK followed because we were part of Europe then. And the demographics shifted rapidly. I noticed that there were more no-go zones.
Well, what is a no-go zone for those that haven't heard?
A no-go zone is a really cute way of saying, if you're a white girl, don't go to this area because you will probably get attacked, harassed, or raped. And there was one area pretty close to where I went to school, and several of my girlfriends got harassed and sexually assaulted. I got attacked physically. I haven't actually spoken about this because, you know, it is rather traumatizing, but I was 16. I was coming home from a class, and it was a gang of Muslim men, and they attacked me, and I fought off, you know, as best as I could, but I got hurt. There was blood. And so I realized then, okay, I need to do something about this. So I trained to be part of the British military. I was like, okay, I'm going to be a sniper. I'm going to be a sharpshooter. I'm going to go there and I'm going to do shit. You know what I mean? And then they said, well, you're a woman, so, you know, we can't let you be a sniper.
Really?
Like,
they have that? Oh, right.
Oh, there was a rule back then. Now you can have custom genitals and be any position in the military, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they said, we'll train you for a year and you can become an officer at Sandhurst. I think it was like an 8-year contract. And I just declined it. I said, you know, I don't see this shifting. I can't really protect myself, even as an officer. So I left and I traveled in Europe a little bit. I was like, is Amsterdam better? No. Is Paris better? No. What about Rome? Went to Rome. Hell no. And then luckily I got signed actually in Australia first. I had a wonderful mother agent there. And she was like, well, why don't you try America? Let's hit up all the American agencies in Miami, New York, and Los Angeles. And yeah, one of them in LA was like, we'd love to see you and put you on our books. So I came over here. Yeah.
I hate to pull you back to the traumatic period, but this is the first time you've told your audience, really gone on public record. Did anything happen to those men?
No.
That happened? Did you report it to the police?
Yeah.
The police did nothing?
They said they're asylum seekers.
Oh. How did
And I
they
was
say
like,
so?
oh,
Roll out the
it's-
red carpet.
So it's all right then?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a common excuse by the police. And people are like, oh, that's so hard to believe, Jade. They wouldn't favor those men over, you know, Welsh women. No, they would. There's something called the Grape Gang Inquiry. I know I'm trying to be very careful with that word so you don't get censored.
Sure.
But the police and authorities failed to stop it. And there was an inquiry into these gangs. They were targeting girls as young as 11 in most recent years, sexually assaulting them.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
And it was proven that the police didn't want to do anything about it because they feared being called racist. Now, put me in charge. I don't care. I don't care about being called racist or Islamophobic. You touch a child. I'm with Florida on that one. You should be put to the forever sleep.
Well, you can tell. Like I'm a radical on this stuff. I know Rupert Lowe. People are like, oh, Rupert Lowe's great. He did this rape inquiry, and God bless him. We need the data, but he's like, we're gonna mass deport these people, and I'm crazy.
That.
Yeah, look, but I'm nuts. Like, and maybe it's because of these eyebrows. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my beard. But look, as a guy, and I think it's important to say this, as a Middle Easterner, as a Christian that came from the Middle East to Australia, where we integrated, where we did the right thing, like a lot of communities, the Greeks, the Italians, in Australia, we feel very comfortable identifying as WOGs. We wear it as a badge of honor. You need to chemically castrate these people and then deport them. You can't just send them into the world and say, oh, it's someone else's problem. Send them to Italy. Send them to the Italian girls. It's their problem. If we have evidence that these men have done a crime and sexually assaulted or raped someone,
Yeah.
then they need to be chemically castrated. They need to be, if you're not coming tough on crime, you are incentivizing the further behavior in the future. And again, you guys you haven't yet stopped the boats. You've got these military men. It's not exactly,
It's not just men coming over on those boats. We'll talk about that soon.
Right. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Firearms, ammunition.
Right.
Who controls the ports?
Right.
Are they being checked, these boats?
Right.
Absolutely not. There was a piece that came out recently from an MI5 agent, I believe MI5 or MI6, and he said that they have been stockpiling weapons and ammo in the UK.
Is that right?
And there's 80,000 jihadi trained soldiers embedded, dormant, waiting for the word.
Yep.
That's all allegedly. It's from an MI5 or MI6 agent, but concerning.
Well, it freaks. You know what freaks me out about this is the in the UK, in Australia, and in America, we've got local. In America, they call it county level elections. We've got state elections and gubernatorial and whatever, and then we've got national elections. In the UK, you've got like local councils, and then you got the national. There's no state. Oh. So in our constitutions, the state government has its own police force, its own policing. They have greater ability to police certain crimes. If in a lot of these majority Muslim areas, and there are a lot of enclaves, you might say, Muslims only make a small percentage. They're not a majority of the UK. No, they are more than a majority in a lot of these local areas where they can dictate the laws, where they can bring in certain Islamic laws. We call it Sharia law. Sharia just means Islamic law. It's just like, it's the Islamic word for law. So it's like law.
Yeah, law.
But I freak out because this is against the spirit of the country of the UK. It is, you're meant to believe in equality before the law, equality between men and women. And the idea that these crimes aren't being policed, it is heartbreaking to see that happen to the birthplace of democracy.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I think the sentence that sums it up for me is mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. And if you do not punish them, you are punishing the children that are being raped. How can you sleep at night?
Jade, where are the feminists on this?
Oh, they're on
the
sides of the immigrants.
Like you see them in Australia, there's these crazy statistics they throw out there saying that like 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted or raped. And they have all these stats in Australia. And obviously they only go after, cis white men,
Oh, yes, white men evil.
It's the white men that are in these packs of rape gangs. It's like, well, that's not what's going on. They go hard on toxic masculinity, but then when it comes to truly toxic masculinity, truly packs of Pakistani, they call them Asian rape gangs, like Pakistani rape gangs in the UK.
Don't slander Asians like that. Thank you very
I know.
much.
I've
never heard of a Japanese grape gang in the UK.
Yeah, there's nothing. They're nowhere to be found, and it makes you wonder, what is this pernicious ideology that is behind feminism? And you see this impasse. People like those sort of early generation of feminists, true feminists like J.K. Rowling, breaking the glass ceiling, getting women in the workforce, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we love J.K.
Being thrown under the bus by this woke ideology. It's like, what's going on with that?
I mean, it's all performative. Liberal feminists don't actually care about women. Been saying it for years.
Are women in the UK waking up to this threat? Are they truly seeing that, hey, we've got something wrong here with immigration?
I believe there's a portion who are, but the majority of women, I think, are just very empathetic.
Yeah.
They don't really see the long-term effects of what's going on, and they're distracted. That's the problem. I think that the men are more locked in and aware of what's happening. One scary statistic was since March of 2025, there's been 199,000 recorded sexual offences in the UK, and approximately 26% of that involved a foreign national as the aggressor. So, people want to say, well, that's a small percentage. I'm like, okay, but if those men weren't in the UK, you'd have 26% of those offenses not occurring.
Yeah.
And that's a fairly good cut, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you really care about women, care about your own safety, let's get rid of them.
Yeah, it's shocking to me because, you know, we look at the analogy I gave you in our last podcast. It's like I see myself as an adopted son into Australia. You know, like sometimes I open my mouth and people are like, that's not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting the Aussie accent. Like, I get it, guys. It's weird. But it's bad for us. It's bad for the immigrants that integrated, and we owe a debt to Australia, giving us a future outside of the Middle East, giving us economic prosperity, the ability to move up the financials, you know, to move up economically in Australia, when the rule of law and corruption has run the Middle East in Lebanon and Syria.
But I just want to say, you're doing amazing things for Australia.
Thank you.
I don't think you're an adopted son of
Thank you.
Australia. I think that you are a true Australian and a true patriot. Yeah.
There's a debate in Australia right now, and a good friend of mine, he wrote this book, What Happened to the Lucky Country, and I just did a podcast with him, and he said, hey, I'm Greek, like we came, you know, 80 years ago. At what point am I considered an Australian? And he said, the Americans don't have this problem. The Americans, he recalled a businessman in America saying, you know, Damien, you would make a great American. You're subscribed to American values.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you've got to be a white guy. But it's bad for immigrants that have integrated and assimilated when we see these recent adopted sons coming in, not integrating, and just sort of running amok and under this name of multiculturalism. It's like multiculturalism is bullcrap. I mean, this is something that came around 40, 50 years ago. There is one culture, it's the Australian culture, and you might have your subculture, but it takes a backseat to the dominant. Like we should all be out celebrating Australia Day instead of Invasion Day, whatever the hell that is.
Invasion Day.
Well, that's every day is Invasion Day today. We've got with the mass immigration that's going on in the UK. I mean,
that is true. Yeah. Okay. It's a fair point. I didn't really think about that.
You didn't think of that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you like that, lefties?
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Do you want to talk about what's going on in Iran? Speaking of invasion.
No, I mean, we did just get news. You know, a year ago, Iran was bombed under the guise of their supposed nuclear program.
It was June 2025, Operation Midnight Hammer, and Trump, I think he said, we obliterated it.
Yeah.
That was the word choice. It's a very strong word choice. Words have meaning. That means we should be fine and not have to deal with that anymore. But what happened to obliterating their supplies? Now they're weeks away from... Are they? I don't think so.
No, and like they touted they set back the program like 20 years. They killed all the top scientists. And, you know, Charlie Kirk, after he passed, there was an article in the Grey Zone written by Max Blumenthal saying Charlie was pivotal to going to the White House and making, having conversations with the president and reminding him of what he ran on, reminding him of what the base wants, because no one was more attuned to what the base wants than Charlie. No new wars.
That was what he ran on.
And the only difference between then and now, we're looking at 150,000 American men military fighting to invade for this regime change.
Yeah.
And we don't have Charlie.
Well, you know who's replaced Charlie? Is Mr. Netanyahu. He's had 7 meetings with Trump since Trump got elected last.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got him going into the White House in Trump's ear like, hey, we think that Iran's going to hit us right now, so we're going to go in with or without you. And America's policy is, well, we have to back you guys up and we have to strike first.
Yeah.
Why? This is not what Americans want at all.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, but pretty much everyone I've spoken to who voted for Trump, very disappointed.
Yeah. And then the crazy thing is, you know, you see a lot of Americans, like the American ambassador to Israel, saying, you know, Israel's always fighting on the self-defense. They were attacked in, you know, 1956 in the Suez Crisis. And it's like, no, they weren't. Israel started that. Same as today. And it's like, wait, that's not self-defense. Iran has like 2 or 3 countries in between it. And you know, and Israel. So like the idea that that this was a self-defense thing is complete crap. And a lot of people, a lot of fair-minded people look at this and say, hey, the tail's wagging the dog here.
Yep.
How did Israel coax Trump into doing that, basically?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like to call Mr. Netanyahu our sugar baby. But at the time of recording, we've lost 6 service members, American service, men and women. And I do want to name 4 of them because I think it's really important. So the U.S. Operations Center in Kuwait got hit by Iran. Sergeant First Class Noah Taichigens, he was 42 from Nebraska. Captain Cody Korek, 35 from Florida. Sergeant First Class Nicole Amor from Minnesota, she was 39. And then Sergeant Declan Cody, age 20 from Iowa. They should still be alive. We have absolutely no business being in the Middle East like this. These were innocent people who served the country, and they're gone. This is at least 4 families that have been affected. We want to get confirmation on the other 2. But I don't understand how we can celebrate this. I mean, I'm happy that Iran has been liberated. Now let them deal with it. I don't want to read any more names, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce the names because they just came through to me, but they should still be alive.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of Trump's old tweets have been resurfacing, a lot of his old videos saying Obama is terrible a negotiator. He should be able to negotiate his way out of this.
Yes.
And now we're looking at it. We're looking at a large-scale ground invasion, basically.
No new wars, but this is a war-level attack.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, I mean, it's decimating America's relationship with the Gulf states. They're prioritizing Israel's defense over the Gulf states, where they accepted these American bases, putting a big target over their head. And now we're looking at a situation where America's basically losing its standing in the world. And we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The base in America is going to kick out Trump and the Republicans in 2020.
No, we've allowed the Democrats to now win the midterms. Fantastic, guys. But did you know that America is now dipping into its reserves?
Reserves
for the military.
Right.
So, counter missiles, our own bombs, things like that. And Iran, very smart. So they're doing death by 1,000 cuts. So they're not setting off nukes, obviously, but they're putting out all these missiles, all these bombs, and Israel's running low. Dubai is about to run out of, counter missiles.
Yeah.
What's going to happen then?
The craziest. So a lot of my friends in Australia, again, I'm very amicable with everyone in Australia, from the Zionist group, like people like Avi Yemeni from Rebel News, and also the more right-wing groups, the Australia First guys like Big Chocky, Sam Bamford, Scott Challen. At least. Oh, you like him, do you?
Yeah, I love him.
Well, yeah, well, I'll try and get him into America, and you guys can have a chat. But Chocky's a fan of your work, and he's been getting big attacks this week on the fact that he's saying, "Why are we doing this?" And that people are attacking him, saying, "Oh, you're a pedophile apologist. You support Iran." And he's like, "Guys, not everything is a binary. You can celebrate the fact that the Iranian people have an opportunity, the first time in like 80 years, to go back to a time when we had the Shah of Iran."
Yes.
But also, we don't trust Israel to set up a democracy. Israel's playbook is historically clear: divide and conquer, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's not anti-Semitic to say that. A lot of Jews are less safe because of the actions of Israel.
Yeah.
They are less safe.
The Middle East is not black and white. It is highly nuanced. People forget that because they just want to pick a side. Are you on my team?
Yeah.
Or are you against my team?
Yeah.
Why are there only 2 teams?
And when you confront them about this Greater Israel thing in Genesis 15, about Israel historically, 3,000 years ago, promised the land from the river, the Nile, to the Euphrates River, which is everything from Egypt's Nile eastward all the way to basically Iran, and a big chunk of Saudi Arabia. When you confront them about it, you say, "Oh, that's an anti-Semitic trope." And it's like, hang on a sec. You guys are looking at an invasion of Lebanon, an invasion of Syria in this buffer zone, an invasion of eventually Jordan, the Sinai Peninsula, like we saw in 1956, and just heading eastward.
Yeah.
And you're emptying out the Middle East of the OG Semites, the actual Semites like me. Like I am 100% Semitic. I am Lebanese and Syrian from the Levant region. You know, I'm more Semitic than Netanyahu. Netanyahu, like he's European.
Yeah, isn't he
He's-
Polish?
Yeah, like all the prime
Interesting.
ministers have had a change of name. Like, who are these people? Like, they're killing the OG Christians, and they're emptying the Middle East of a lot of incompatible cultures that are going to Europe, going to Australia, the USA, and committing these terrorist attacks. And in order for Israel to succeed, they need to weaken the Gulf states, the Arab states like Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Qatar, and sever them from the United States.
Yeah. I mean, you saw
And-
the Strait of Hormuz is getting shut down now. Our gas prices have already started going up. So it's only going to get worse.
Yeah,
Great.
and people are saying, "Oh, Joel, why are you so fascinated with, Israel?" And I'm like, Israel started this conflict, and I am Australia first. Australia doesn't fund Israel like America. We're not the police of the world. We're a small country. Our economy is the size of Florida. Where our population's the size of Taiwan. We're 29 million people. But when fuel goes up in Australia, we've only got about less than a month of diesel and unleaded petrol. If that goes up, and if we don't have it, we can't get the food to the cities. How about that? That's like we're forgetting how to breathe. All of our 90% of, for those of you listening, 90% of Australia's fuel is imported. It's refined overseas in Asia by places like Singapore. All of our fleet, they go via the Malacca Strait near the islands in Asia. And everyone's like, we don't even get fuel from the Middle East. And I'm like, all right, first things first. It's refined in Asia, but these Asian countries get it from the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
And we live in a globalized world where if the price goes up here, it goes up there. When the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off, everyone was like, oh, why is fuel prices going up? All the politicians are like, oh, it's the Russia-Ukraine war. You can blame Russia. All right. Well, it was Israel that kicked this off with Iran, and now it's affecting us. And now I am forced to talk about this. I never used to talk about this topic, but now we have to talk about it because Australians deserve the right to know why in this cost of living crisis brought on by COVID, brought on by inflation, why now it's going to get even worse.
Yeah.
And to really make matters worse, this is a part of the de-industrialization of the Five Eyes countries like the UK and Australia. Yeah. We used to have 9 refineries in Australia. Now we have 1. We are not energy efficient. We have all the resources we need. We have oil, we have coal, we have everything. But these licenses our government gives out, they don't do it in the national interest. These companies sit on these licenses for up to 5 years, don't use it. It's a bit like the diamond trade. They control how much they release onto the market to keep inflated prices. And they eye gouge us. And it's like, hang on, that is the wealth of the Aussie people. That is the wealth of the nation. That is what we call the Commonwealth of Australia. And you're giving away the forefathers' promise to following generations by serving these corporations. And
that's exactly right. It's the same in the UK, by the way. We could be completely energy efficient, but we're not. You rely on Russia. Why is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So how, look, you're in America and look, it's an even more difficult battleground with regards to this topic. How do you navigate it without, obviously you're going to get labeled anti-Semitic regardless, but how do you navigate it? How do you get accurate information?
It's weird. So, I mean, obviously I do a lot of research. I'll look at left-wing and right-wing news outlets. I also do go through my DMs and I will check out stories that people send me, like regular on-the-ground people, because I trust them more than the news outlets. I have a couple of friends in Israel who I've been talking to. I'm very concerned about their safety. They're sending me videos from the bunkers. And, I do have a lot of Jewish fans and people that follow me. And I think they know where I stand. It's like, I don't have a problem with Jewish people. I have a problem with corrupt governments. And Israel is no different. It's a government. And men are corrupt It's that simple.
The last time we talked, it was days after the Bondi shooting, and
Yeah.
you rightly predicted the fact that these laws were coming down the pipeline, and they were going to target right wingers somehow, even though these two men, born in Pakistani father, born in the south, he was living in the south of India, came to Australia on a student visa in the late 90s, 1997, I think, and these guys commit this atrocious attack. They were supposedly being trained by ISIS in the Philippines, but we don't know what happened there. And people tried to blame it on Iran at the time. And it was like, hang on, which one is it? ISIS is Sunni, Iran is Shia Muslim. It can't be both. And
both terrible, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to just say that Sunni Islam is not great.
yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, get your narrative straight, guys. I get it. You want to go to war with Iran, but let's be accurate here. Was it ISIS or?
No, they really think we're stupid. They think
Yeah.
that people are stupid.
Yeah.
And it's offensive. I don't take offense to things, but don't call my people stupid. Don't lie to us.
Yeah. And look, and no one's saying that, after the Bondi shooting, we shouldn't have laws to protect, Jewish people. But why are we calling it Jewish people? Why don't we just call it Australians?
Yeah.
You can't just come and shoot a bunch of, and it wasn't all Jews that were killed.
No.
It was 15 people plus the gunman. Some weren't Jewish. And the idea that we're going to create a special class of hate crime where they're going to also go after those online commentators that are critical of Jews, including critical of a country, Israel, which is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. It's like you can't imagine if we did that with China. I always like to use that litmus test. If we started creating, if you criticize Chinese people, that means you're criticizing the country of China. That's silly.
You're China-phobic.
Chinaphobic. And also, I mean, this is another thing. I was ambushed by a question the other day about Charlie Kirk getting the anti-Semitic, the defender of Jewish people, basically. And I was just like thinking, Charlie was a defender of Semitic people. He was human. He didn't like to see anyone getting killed, really, in the Middle East. Hence his position. But I literally cannot be anti-Semitic because I am Semitic myself. In fact, probably more Semitic than most Israelis, as a matter of fact.
Well, they like to argue that you hate yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why you say these things.
Yes. Yeah, I get that from everyone.
Yeah.
But no, so tell me, when it comes to, you're an American now, what would you like to see? I mean, do you think that the US should totally withdraw from the Middle East, leave the sandbox, leave, and look, there is an argument to say, and even Charlie was wrestling with this in the end, there is an argument to say that there are strategic interests, like the Strait of Hormuz closing is a national security threat to America, to Australia.
Of course.
Would you say that we should have a total pullout? There should be no involvement whatsoever? I mean, where's the line, I guess?
I think just all the surrounding nations and probably the United Nations, if they want to get off their arse and do something, should be monitoring the strait and have everyone, for the best interests of the planet, monitoring that path and making sure there are no closures.
Right.
You can have your little fights about which interpretation of the Quran is right. Do that over there.
Yeah.
Let's keep this flowing. It's as simple as that. What I want from America, I mean, I'm in no position of power. This is literally just my opinion.
Right. But you are, though.
I am an American.
Yeah.
And I have some followers, but I'm not huge. I just want Americans to be healthier and happier because they're not. It's just a fact. So we should be fixing the potholes. We should be putting more money into the schools and education, fixing the healthcare system. That's what affects everyday Americans on a daily basis. I mean, our cars are getting absolutely destroyed from the potholes here in DC.
Yeah.
Our children are sick, our elderly are sick, and they can't afford healthcare. Women are not being able to, reproduce and have the children that they want to have because it's expensive. We should be fixing the country, our country first, America first. I know everyone's like, oh, that makes you, a Nick Fuentes supporter. Okay, fine. If he thinks the same thing, then great. I agree with Nick Fuentes on this. America first. Fix our country before fixing another one. Because if you're weak, you haven't been working out, you haven't been eating right, and then there's a burning building. How can you carry out someone else? You can't,
That's true.
because you're weak. Same thing on airplanes.
Mm.
Put your mask on before helping the person next to you. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
We're putting masks on everyone else.
It's like 8 trillion America spent in the
Yes.
Middle East, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
Yeah. And Israel has their own dome. They're fine. They can make their own anti-missile missiles if they want to do that. We don't have a dome.
Yeah, I was after the June last year when there was that operation there to take out the Iranian nuclear program. There was a huge pressuring by AIPAC and the Zionist lobby to basically push America to bomb these facilities because only the Americans had the B-23 bombers, I do believe they're called.
Yeah. It's when you see missing pixels in
Yeah, that's
sky,
right.
that's when you need to worry.
That's when you should worry. Yeah, you're about to learn why Americans don't have free healthcare.
Yeah.
Those memes. No, so not long after that, America passed a bill, the Congress passed a bill to sell this to Israel, this technology, these B-23 bombers, so that they no longer need America in the future. I just look at that and I just see this escalation in one direction. Israel does not want to be told what to do. They just want to go. They want to be their own global power. And the only reason they called, they would have done what they're doing today, they would have done a year ago in June, but they didn't because I think they underestimated Iran.
Yeah.
90 million people. They didn't expect that. How difficult it would be to take out these missile silos.
Yeah. Apparently it was the same maneuver as in Top Gun Maverick. Which
Yeah.
is quite fascinating, isn't it?
That's right. Came out a year before, I believe.
So you have to have very skilled pilots to
Yeah.
do that, and I'm sorry, but you're only gonna
Yeah.
find that in America.
Yeah.
Those pilots are incredible.
Jade, forgive me if this comes across a little bit direct, but
Okay.
yeah, okay. You're a brave girl. Most girls aren't talking about politics. Most girls don't have a fascination with what's going on, and even to look into these issues. Did your father have an impact on your political worldview, or?
No, so I have a strange family upbringing. I was raised by my grandparents, my mother's side. My grandfather was in the RAF. He flew a Spitfire. My grandmother was a shop girl, just a commoner, as they like to call them. And they were wonderful, World War II kids, just fantastic people. They passed a few years ago. And my mum was away for most of my childhood. And she started, helping out more when I was like 10 and up. And at that point, she had started dating a wonderful man called Timothy Warwick. And he became my stepdad. And he was a fantastic man. He died a few years ago too. He was a whistleblower and a Christian, and a truly good human. He adopted a child, a little black kid with severe autism. So I also had a stepbrother in a way that was adopted. And this man had a heart of gold. Like, I've never met a man as good as him. Since.
You said a whistleblower?
Yeah, for Road Chef. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I don't cry. This is weird.
Well, look, this is
Cutting
why.
this out.
Yeah, this is why I want to ask, because death has an enormous impact on people. I've noticed when their father dies, especially, there's something like, it's like a handing down of the baton. It's like, it's on me now to carry on the values and to stand up for.
Oh man, I didn't know this would be a therapy session.
Yeah, well, no, but look,
Therapy is gay.
Therapy is gay. No, look, I'll give you a chance to compose yourself. Then
I'm fine.
You're so British. I love it. Yeah, it's a stoic.
Stiff upper lip.
I had the same thing with my dad when my dad passed in about 4 weeks into my show in 2020, due to the fact that I've mentioned this before, but the fact that he during COVID he was in the middle of a 5-year cancer battle. He was winning. He's getting blood transfusions in Mexico, and then when the lockdowns came in Australia, he couldn't go and get that. So the government lockdowns were what killed him. And it was like he had a significant impact on my worldview as a Christian. He taught me politics through Christianity in a funny way, because of the politics between different denominations. It's quite heated, as you appreciate. To lose him, it was like, it set me on a path of, I would use the word revenge in the best kind of way. It's that the greatest revenge I can do is imbue those values, and he lives in you. It's a bit like that Lion King thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Simba. You remember who you are. You have forgotten who you are. But there's such a deep. I remember listening to Jordan Peterson's segments on the Lion King. It is deep. It is the fact that you are the next iteration of this. It is up to you to carry the family values on and the family name.
Yeah.
And so that's why I ask about your father, because you have talked about him very endearingly in the past, and which is why I ask about it. But
yeah, I do fail to say stepfather because, you know, I feel like he raised me more than my actual father, who is still alive. He's also a very intelligent man. He's half Chinese, half European, works in finance, just wasn't really around very much. So I say that Tim Warwick was my father.
Sure.
And I say that, you know, my father is more of a sperm donor at this point. But
but your
thanks for that. It gave me decent cheekbones and a very high IQ. So thanks.
Yeah.
But no, Tim Warwick was incredible. I mean, whistleblower for Road Chef, for the employees and the investors. There's a lot of corruption going on there, and it bankrupted him. He lost everything. But he did that because he knew it was the right thing to do. You know, in the BBC, the only good thing they've done in the last 10 years was write up an article about him and explained everything he did for those people. And yeah, he was a really good guy. So I hope that he is proud of me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you've stood on principle. I think he'd say, it's hard to think what he'd say. A lot of people say that to me in the comments sometimes. They say, Joel, your father would be proud.
No.
So many places I could take with this at this point.
Deep breaths.
Yeah, deep breath. A therapy session.
No more crying.
Yeah, I'm not crying, you're crying. They don't make men like that anymore. They just don't. I mean, my dad, he was like I didn't even know how he did all this stuff. I mean, by the time he was 35, 40, the guy was a millionaire from property development. Again, this is a guy, his grandfather came in 1969 to Australia. He took up the trades. They went all into bricklaying. They picked up the trades. And by the time my dad was, you know, he came here when he was 4 years old. By the time he was 40, not only was he a millionaire with the enormous economic prosperity you could have by applying yourself in the Australian economy, he also studied at the Conservatorium of Music. He played the saxophone, the clarinet, the oud, which is a 12-stringed instrument. It's like the lute. It's actually what the guitar's based off. But he was also very phenomenal at, he understood Arabic, he understood English, he understood the Australian culture, he loved Australia, and he could do any trade on the construction site. And lastly, in terms of Christian values, he started the Sydney Institute for Christian Studies. He talked about Islam. He talked about the comparison between the two. And I was like, you know, they just don't make stoic men like that anymore.
No,
they just don't.
That's why I like to call a Renaissance man. And his story is the American dream. And I mean, what a fantastic man. And yeah, you're very blessed to have come from him.
Well, tell me, like, because I don't want to go into your dating life, obviously.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, not at all. But you're one of the best people to ask, because you are in the realm of, like, you look at what's on offer nowadays. And I say this as a man, you know, I went to an all guys school, and I, you know, growing up, and you see, you know, you as a guy, you compare yourself to other guys. We're competitive. I just look at our fathers, and I'm just like, none of us we're not even in the same, like, these guys were in the stratosphere. And then you look at their fathers, and their fathers, again, was another step up.
It probably has something to do with testosterone levels. They have severely depleted over the last 50 years. And that affects everything, overall health, even your sex drive. It was like, oh, why did our grandparents have so many children? Because your granddad's T was up there. You know, ours is very, very low. Yeah. And younger men are experiencing ED. So I believe that has something to do with it. In addition, social media, it's a form of distraction. You know that saying, give the people coliseums and entertainment and they will never revolt. Believe it. I worded it wrong, but
Bread and circuses.
bread and
That's the
circuses,
one.
that's
Yeah.
the one. That's what's going on. We are constantly on our phones. We're going from one thing to another. Then there's OnlyFans, and men are getting distracted by that.
Yeah.
Our dopamine receptors are being absolutely destroyed. And yeah, I mean, we also have feminism. The last wave of feminism honestly made men hate women.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm with them on that. I don't like modern feminists at all. Yeah, there's a lot of things that play into why we're different from our grandparents. But yeah.
But you know, God's a funny guy. I mean, people thought that, what's the worst that could happen to Gen Z if we lock them in their home during COVID for 2 weeks?
They become gooners.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the path some men have gone. But you know what's funny? What's ended up happening is we've seen a lot of men return to Christianity. We've
Well, not
seen,
just that, Crusaders.
yeah, that's
Have you
right.
seen the amount of reels that are cropping up on that? I love it.
It's just radical. Like my Bishop Maramari Emmanuel, he was the one that was stabbed in the eye in 2024. He one of the greatest joys out of COVID was to see them shut down his church and then him take his church online, and he just went viral. Like TikTok, when TikTok started, it was like girls twerking in the West, and now it's just like, as you say, this crusade memes, Bishop Maramari
I don't know
going
what's on
hard.
TikTok because I've been banned.
Oh, you've been back. Sorry to hear that.
Permanently.
Yeah, well, it's changed a lot recently with its new owners, I found.
We'll see.
Um,
I'll try and
Yeah.
make an account again.
yeah, well, I think new platforms will pop up. But I ask about the men thing because the reason why the West did so well is because it was from the abundance of successful, high testosterone men that built the enormous society stability, the way things work, the ability to then actually give women the right. Don't get me wrong, women fought for it, but
Yeah.
it was like men also had to give that up
Yeah.
to an extent as well and protect women. And I think that if we don't talk about how we can get men back to be great again in the form of competent, just basically competent
Yeah.
and strong and strong-headed about what they want.
It starts with testosterone levels and discipline. If you can lock those two things in, you will be unstoppable. You will be a great man. And you're right, that we don't make men like this anymore. But I think it's forced women to become like Joan of Arc. It's forced women like, myself and Eva, she's a right-wing commentator, and I think out of the Netherlands, to speak up, things like that. So that it's kind of pushed us into maybe a fifth wave of feminism.
Yeah.
Where we kind of want to go back to the first and second wave.
Yeah.
And we're like, right, well, the men aren't standing up for us anymore because these women have ruined it for us. And now they want like custom genitals, which is strange. So we now have to get, the West back on a certain track, and the women are being more outspoken than the men. It's weird.
It's so funny. I didn't expect that I'd be talking about this in the podcast, our statistics online, because it's not good to self-aggrandize. But during COVID, I built my following off of COVID from 2020. My following, a lot of people freak out when they hear this, but my following is predominantly 66% women.
Interesting.
Yeah, for the first 4 years. And it was women above the age of 30. So 30 to about 65 is the bulk of my audience. I'd imagine your audience is more men, about maybe the flip.
79.6% men on Instagram.
79. You know what?
Between the ages of 20 and 45. Majority.
It's so fun. I had these two girls, they came in and they said, because I like to help a lot of podcasts. I share. I like to help mentor a lot of people. And they were like, yeah, we want to start a podcast to reach women. And I said, that's great. You know what's going to happen? You're going to have Jade statistics. It's going to be like 80% men that follow you. And they're like, why is that? I don't want that. And I said, you can't help some of these things. Sometimes men, it's not that they don't want to hear from a woman like that. It's more that they will listen to a woman. It's more appealing for them to watch. But
women are the driving force behind men. Everything men do is for a woman.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And I respect that. So any man that follows me, it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
I know they would fight for me.
one of the encouraging things I've been noticing is people like yourself coming up. There are a lot more female commentators that are becoming the Joan of Arc sort of people. And that is, let's just say, rearranging men's priorities and perspective on what women actually want.
Yeah.
See, I think too often men think, if I make my opinion known on this, they're going to think I'm a toxically masculine man, and therefore I have to water down I've got to be this soy boy. But when you have women like you saying, no, this is what I'm looking for in a partner, it rearranges the whole hierarchy of who's going to pass on their genetic material, their genetic to the next generation. So women have an enormous power.
Yeah. I mean, we're not attracted to patronizing, condescending men who, have ego issues. That's not true. True masculinity is stoicism. It's discipline. It's, for me, Christian values. And you don't have to be like the biggest man in the room. It's not that at all. No. But and
that's why I mentioned your stepfather, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like, he was 6'5", big man, but he wasn't like Bruley or anything. He was very gentle. We called him a gentle giant. But, he stood up for innocent people. And so that's why I do that now, I guess.
It's like
therapy.
it's like a quiet confidence.
But, it's like Call Her Daddy, that podcast. Utter trash.
Yeah, I'm not aware of
trash.
that. Right.
For fuck's sake. No, it really makes me think we should repeal the...
What is it, the 18th of it? The one that gave women the vote?
I didn't want to say it, but
yeah.
It came out.
It's all right. It's not the most radical thing we've said. I'm pretty sure I called for a chemical castration of rapists. So.
Well, that's fair. I think
no
Florida's
one said it yet. Rupert Lowe hasn't adopted it. Like, Rupert Lowe's great.
Florida, Anna Paulina Luna, she said that if you, abuse a child, you sexually assault a child, you should be put to death.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's good. But, the women that listen to Call Her Daddy, it's the reason why it's the #1 podcast. And it has a female audience. It's just, guys, the people that listen to that vote, do you know what I mean? They're talking about how to give a good blowjob. And
oh, really?
They had wasn't it Kamala? She went on there and they were just cackling for an hour.
Cackling.
That's not joy, that's drugs. That's alcohol. I can't, these women. They're actually a disappointment to female kind.
Do you remember that clip I showed you in Arizona? The one of me debating that girl, Abby Chatfield.
Yes.
Just saying, just let them in. Just let the immigrants in. And then next thing you know, it's the Bondi shooting.
How is Abby?
Well, look,
she's been
laying a bit low. She's been laying a little low after Bondi. She still makes her videos, but look... Yeah, like the wind's out of her sails quite a bit. And I think a lot of, the problem is you can do that for a time, but time always catches up to you. Eventually you can't be a little girl anymore. Eventually you've got to be, I think what the British women really have pioneered, it is like you have to be a lady.
Yeah.
You actually have to have a grace about you.
The Iron Lady.
Yes, yes.
Maggie.
Yes.
Yes. But I try and be as elegant and graceful as I possibly can be, because that's how my grandma raised me. It was all Audrey Hepburn movies. But in today's world, and also trying to get clicks, we have to do certain things.
Yeah.
The hook, the first 3 seconds of a video, and I'll say things that a lady would not say. But I'm doing it for a reason. Like at my core, yes, I want to dress like Audrey Hepburn and have a bunch of decorative cows and chickens and and literally just shut the fuck up and live on a farm. But I have to try and make a difference. And for that, I need to mold myself, walking this line between being a lady, being elegant, and being an assaulter.
Yeah.
I want to go into, I want to go into governments and, verbally assault them.
Yeah.
And say, this isn't right. You are letting the people down. The Grape Gang inquiry in the UK, they voted to have a new inquiry, re-inquire. And the Liberal Democrats over there voted against it.
Right.
And I want to go in there and tell them how I really think. And unfortunately, being a lady, you can't do that.
No. But
you have to call Queer Starmer a cunt.
But you've had some... Sorry, you're an Aussie...
I ruined my Lent.
It's okay. You're on an Aussie podcast. It's fine. You're just speaking straight Aussie. It's fine. But when I talk about... what you were talking earlier about how you wanted to join the military and become a sniper, you reminded me of another elegant... someone that's done some phenomenal takedowns, Katie Hopkins. Same thing. What was her history? I do believe she went into the military and rose as high as a woman could go, pretty much. In the that as much as they'd allow you.
They don't really talk about that. They just talk about her time as a TV host.
Oh yes,
which is
yes,
kind of patronizing, degrading.
Yeah, she's great. She tried to get into Australia and help Aussies out when she was coming to Australia for a show and they rejected her and they kicked her out
Just like with Candace Owens.
Yeah, Candace. Yeah, they. You know what's crazy about the Candace Owens thing? Even Zionist organizations were saying she should be allowed into the country because if you don't let her in, a guy called David Adler, he used to run the Australian Jewish Association. It's the biggest Jewish association in Australia. He quite shrewdly pointed out if you reject her, it's going to increase anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
So why would just let her come, let her do her thing. You know, maybe not many people will go and then she'll go and that's it. Like, let her speak to 8,000 people in every city and that's fine. Like, her videos are still reaching us.
Yeah.
Like, she's still like the most popular podcast in the world.
That's wild.
But you know, I was asked about this the other day. I was ambushed by a guy called Josh Zepps. He asked me, I didn't know he was going to ask this. He said, what do you make of all this? You're the head of Turning Point Australia, Joel. What do you make of all this drama with Turning Point USA and the Candace Owens series? And I was just like, well, look, I just don't know why they haven't sued her yet. Either the truth's on their side, and it would come out in the court documents, or,
So suing for slander and defamation, you have to prove that what the person is saying is incorrect and also damages your brand. So, for example, I've sued someone for slander and defamation and won because what they were saying about me was not true.
Yeah.
That also spiked my interest. Like, why haven't they sent her a cease and desist with, hey, if you continue, we're going to sue you for slander and defamation.
Yes.
Now, the thing with Erica, I don't know if we want to go there, but, Candace has done a series called The Bride of Charlie, which is, what a name for a series. It plays on Bride of Chucky.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
I missed that reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is something strange with Erica. I mean, you can love her for who she is now, but if you look at her past, it is questionable. And I'm one of those people that I struggle to watch her because something in my gut says something's off about her. And I'm a pretty good judge of women. I've been around enough sociopaths as well to recognize certain behaviors and traits. And there's something, I was training for a pageant once and then I decided that it was definitely not my thing because I'd have to not swear. But one of the tricks they use is looking up into a bright light to induce tears. And I noticed that she does that a lot and she does come from the pageant world. And I don't know, look, if my husband, who I loved dearly, father of my children, got publicly executed like that, one, I would be concerned for my children's safety and my own because I don't want them becoming fully orphaned. I would go into hiding. I would not be doing big events, WWE style with fucking fireworks and shit. I would be in hiding. I'd be praying. I'd be looking after my children. She's not doing that, and that concerns me.
Yeah, it's a very awkward. They've put me in a very awkward position because on the one hand, I owe Charlie a great debt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a following before I took on Turning Point in 2021. I was operating for like 2 years on my own. Fine. Mm-hmm. But Charlie gave me an enormous opportunity with Turning Point to help people breathe their values into politics. And I mostly dealt with Tyler Boyer, who's obviously been covered quite a bit on that show.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know anything about the American operation. They barely, a lot of people, they're like, oh, come on, Joel, seriously? And I'm like, it's a big organization. It's like over 800 employees. Yeah. They barely respond to my texts. So when I was
wild.
No, they don't.
You're
they
the
just
head
don't.
of Turning Point Australia,
and they
barely respond to you.
The equivalent would be if I was the head of Turning Point in Florida. I'm the head of a country's Turning Point, and we're doing very well in terms of our following. We're still growing, and if I can say so, I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that I've tied myself to the brand, and people can go to me at the end of the day and be like, all right, Turning Point Australia is Joel Jamal. However, part of the problem I've got with the US is one, I don't know what's going on. Two, they won't answer my text. And three,
It's weird.
the worst part of all this is the brand damage. People are asking me questions I don't know the answer to.
Like, I'll be honest with you. I went to AmFest last year in December. That's where I met you. That was my first, and I think last time I will go to one of those events. And not because, they've said they're not going to invite me, whatever it is. It's because the infighting was terrible and the vibes were off. And I don't like what's going on with that company.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, when this host asked me about this question, because again, I'm still trying to work out what's going on myself, guys. It puts me in a very awkward position because whilst I owe this enormous debt to Charlie and there've been nothing but good, again, just so people know, it's a branding agreement. I don't fund them and they don't fund me. Not a cent. And it's what you make of it. Stick to the values. Charlie wanted Turning Point to be global. That's why there is a Turning Point UK. There's a Turning Point Australia. There's some springing up in Europe, I believe, very soon. But we were bringing him out on a tour late this year. We were in the early stages of talking about contract fees, and he was out. Let's call it. He had the lowest talent fee. He was going to charge us something minuscule, like 40 grand. Like we've brought out people that were 400 grand, even 2 million for just the talent fee.
Who were like smaller than him.
Yeah. Well, people that were, they were smaller than him. Yeah, you're right. And the idea that he was a true believer in the Turning Point message. And it puts me in a difficult position now because the Yanks aren't answering my question. I don't want to name who it was, but the last text they sent to me was they said, with respect, Joel, we don't have time for you guys. I only deal with seven-figure donors now.
Pardon?
Yeah. Yeah, that's verbatim. Like, I only deal with seven-figure donors now. And it's like, what, do I've got to pay $1 million? This is Australia. Like, we don't, we're not rolling in cash.
You're not a donor.
No, I'm not a donor. Like, I'm carrying your brand with two hands. Like, I am
It's the
taking
same company.
care. Yeah, and so look, I said to this host that ambushed me with this question, I said, look, it wouldn't be wise for me to opine about this. It wouldn't be wise for me to post this. But the fact that we've grown Turning Point, despite your PR disaster with this whole freaking thing, if you're doing something corrupt, then the answer is the same. I'm not in the wrong. You're in the wrong.
Yeah.
You're against the law. Like in Australia, we have very, very strict electoral laws, very strict jail time. We have to show who donates to us, how much, when they did it. If there is any sense of impropriety in America with the way you're running your books, with the way you're running your operation, I want nothing to do with it. And so I need the facts first and foremost. This isn't about, you owe us. No. Like, we've continued to grow despite your PI nightmare. And to make matters worse, there is an Iran war on right now. And last I checked,
Charlie was against it.
Charlie was against it. He was one of the only people making private ovations to the president about this, and the president listened. Why aren't you? I hear that they're taking his segments down. It's like they're saying what Charlie would have said. Like, so they're not even saying what he would have said. They're saying what they'd like him to say. It's like
they're twisting it,
having a little puppet and saying what you allow him to say.
Yeah,
this makes me sick. And you see these, and again, look, I'm talking about this because I've run out of avenues. I've tried to talk to these people on numerous occasions. With respect, I'm not the sort of guy that wants to just, we're Middle Eastern. We're very I'm very appreciative of what they've given me, and I don't want to rock the boat. But when you see 40 to 50 employees getting let off, OG employees that have been with them for many years.
I'm actually close to one of them, and he's been telling me a lot of stuff.
One of the early guys, I met him, and been there 13 years. This guy from the start with Charlie, and when you see how they talk about it, and you see them getting let go, I'm like, hang on. 6 months ago, Erica was describing these people as her family.
Yeah,
you don't go after my family, and then this is how you treat your family.
Yeah. There's some
Yeah.
things that are not aligning with what she's saying. You know, she went on stage, what was it, like 2 weeks after Charlie's death, and said she forgives the shooter. And then a couple of weeks later, she's like, I can't forgive Candace. What?
It doesn't stack
That
up.
doesn't make any sense. So you forgive the guy that took your husband's life, father of your children. Okay, very Christian of you. Love it. You don't forgive a woman who was friends with your husband because she's investigating into what happened.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and look, the comments that I've said here today may make me lose Turning Point Australia. But again, okay, how are you going to handle that?
You just blame me.
No, but like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that to friends. But the idea, like, okay, so what's the plan? You're going to, okay, let's strip Joel of Turning Point. That'll really show him. Oh, great, another PR nightmare where, you know, I'm not even condemning them. I'm just saying there's no communication. I'm the head of a branch in a whole country. We were looking at expansion to New Zealand. We've got people in the Philippines, in Japan, in South Korea. They're all contacting us because you guys aren't talking to them. And they want to live on Charlie's legacy.
But their optics are off.
Yeah.
And it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. I'll just be honest.
Anyways, yeah, it's an enormous source of frustration for me because Charlie couldn't have been more clear about what he stood for. There's hundreds of thousands of hours of content on him. We know who he is. We know what he stood for. It's tough because he sacrificed so much for getting Trump elected to the White House. He's the man. Like Gavin Newsom, governor of California, it was the first guest he invited on was Charlie Kirk because he recognized this is a guy that could be president one day, and he won Trump the presidency in those swing states. And the utter cowardice, the utter cowardice is disgusting.
I do have a question for you, regarding, Turning Point America. Are you worried about AI? So my concern is that they're going to start putting out videos of Charlie using AI, saying what they want him to say. That, oh, newfound footage. That's my concern because we see videos of him popping up everywhere, and it would be very easy for them to just throw in an AI video of him saying, oh no, maybe we should support this war. Now I think about it. Like that's my concern. You really can't trust anything you see online anymore.
Yeah, whilst I agree with you, I have too much respect for the internet and their ability to disprove it. They're too good. The internet's too good. I mean, the way that they're like, no, this was an archived, or there's huge question marks. I think it would be even worse. Look, Turning Point. Yeah, honestly, there's not much more I can say on this. I just don't get why they haven't sued Candace. It's a huge. I'm not even saying what she's saying is true. Candace is true, but
if they don't have a strong case, their lawyers would not do it.
Yeah.
And clearly that's what's happening. So put two and two together.
Yeah. And
look, I think Candace is a little insane. I'm not going to lie. Probably would have a great time with her, in private. She has been off with a number of things. She exaggerates and has lost a lot of credibility, but I admire how stubborn she is, and I admire that she asks questions. So, yeah.
Like if something, God forbid, would happen to me, you'd want Candace to look into it.
If anything happens to you, I will become the new Candace.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's nice.
Best believe.
Yes. Publicly sourced.
Yes, sir.
Yes, search. So where do you go with that?
Where do we go with
that?
We could switch it up and talk about another topic that won't get us put on a hit list. Although that's everything we've talked about so far.
Literally, we've gone up to Islam, feminism, LGBT,
Muslim Brotherhood,
China.
China.
China's the only one we haven't got. Look, there's this whole people have asked me often, like, who runs the world? And I've just been like, look, I don't think it's one organization. I think it's a bunch of gangster groups. I think you've got like the Chinese mafia, like the sort of like that.
Triads.
The triads, the Russians, they've got their interest.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, the reason why we've got an imbalance in the West is it's no longer nationalism. It's no longer Britain first. It's no longer Australia first.
Mm-hmm.
We're some of these, let's just say, other gangster groups have gotten their tentacles so far into Australia and the USA and
Yeah.
the UK, to the point that they've basically made their interests our nationals' interests. And
They've used Operation Mockingbird as their template to persuade and manipulate the public,
yeah,
which is fascinating.
I was reading a great story the other day. One guy was with this is like in the 80s. An American was in Russia, the USSR, and he was saying, you guys have, it's insane how much propaganda you have. We don't really have that in the USA. And the Soviet was just like, exactly, that's the point. That's the best propaganda. You don't even realize you're being programmed, basically.
Yeah. What a statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you go to Russia?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I would.
I want to go too.
I would.
Might have to go on my British passport, but
Yeah.
we should do it.
I have made enemies in Russia. That's the only problem. That's a story for another time.
Okay.
For other issues. But tell me, Jade, where do you, hiring question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I guess what I'm trying to ask is,
Hopefully alive.
how do you measure success? Being alive?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah. I mean, it's money obviously can help, and being successful financially and in your business, okay, it's going to lead to an easier life in some aspects, but the bigger you are, the bigger your problems as well. And I am experiencing that now. But yeah, it's about happiness. So are you content? Are you happy with your life? Are you healthy? Is your family good? That's all that matters, really, at the end of the day. Take everything else away. Have you got a roof over your head?
Yeah.
Are you loved? Is your stomach full?
Yeah.
That's it.
Kids on a personal level,
What about kids?
would you consider?
Yeah, I want kids. I want to have a family. I want to raise a little army of Jade offsprings.
Yeah.
They're all learning different languages and going to MMA. But yeah, it's difficult because, as we said, they don't make men like that anymore.
Sure.
So, I'm 28 and I'm considering, freezing some of my eggs, giving some of them away to people who can't have children. I know there's a lot of Catholics that think that that's really bad. But at the end of the day, like, if I can help someone, I'm going to help someone. Like,
Yeah.
I'll talk to God when I get up there if that was a bad move or not. But yeah, I mean, if I date someone who shares my values and will protect me and be loyal, then 100% getting married, having kids.
Yeah.
If not, hopefully I become wealthy enough to do it on my own. Wouldn't really want to raise a child without a father, but yeah, that's the most important decision a woman can make, is who she has children with. So that's where I struggle.
Sure. No, but I think what you're doing is enormously beneficial to a lot of people out there, a lot of families out there, to work out their happy place. I think there's enormous courage and power in what you're doing. And so you mentioned earlier, you sort of rode yourself off and said, like, I'm not really making a huge impact in America, but I think it's enormously powerful, inspiring men to step up and man up, and also women to sort of inspire men as well, and also choose wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is critical.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
It is rough.
Yeah, we'll see. If it's supposed to happen, I always say, Deus fault, God wills it.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, just closing off, because this has been again, this is how we chat offline.
I know. Well, we're worse offline where there's no community guidelines to stop us.
That's right. That's right. We are swearing usually a lot more. Should I ask this question?
Yes.
If Charlie was here, what would you ask him?
Oh man, that's loaded, because I never met him. I just watched, his clips. I'd ask him what the American people should do now, what they should focus on. Is it focusing on the war, or is it just, growing our own food, buying land, starting our own communities? What should they focus on?
Yeah. Yeah, if I was, obviously I'm the interviewer here, but if he was here, and you could like resurrect him and ask him a question, because not many people understand the situation I'm in with Turning Point. Again, a snapshot of Australia. We've done quite well in Australia. Turning Point. We get about 220 million views a year. 2% of voters use our voting cards because we have preferential voting. So it means we can lobby pretty much any politician in the country.
It's fantastic.
And we have a newspaper. We have a newspaper, The Light Australia, which does very well. It's independent. It's great journalism. Basically runs itself. I barely get involved. They do a great job. They've done 3 million physical prints, and we've got like a $300,000 studio in the heart of Sydney. And we're only 4 years old. But the one question I'd ask Charlie is, what do you regret getting President Trump elected? Do you regret putting so much energy and sacrificing so much personally and company-wise? I mean, all of his efforts was to this one solution, getting Trump elected.
Yeah.
You know, do you regret that? And if so, what would you have chosen to do instead? Obviously, he would say, well, look, I'd like to think he would say, I don't regret what I've done to this point. I know I was doing the right thing. But moving forward, I would do X.
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is X? Is it electorally?
Yeah.
Is politics worthless? In my heart, I don't think it is. I think you still play a role in politics. I think we can still create cultural change through politics and through media. But I would just ask him, how would you go about doing that?
No, that's a fair question. Do you ever feel like you want to quit?
No, I can't quit. I can't quit. It's a bit like...
Not can't.
No.
What do you want to do?
I don't think I can quit because I'm just too opinionated and I don't like injustice. I used to be a democratic socialist years ago, 6 years ago.
I'm so sorry.
I know. Well, look, I had a heart. So, you know, if you're never on the left, you didn't have a heart. So, ha-ha. But no, like what got me in, it's important to understand what drew you in because it was for good reasons. It was seeing injustice. It was seeing, obviously, they tug on the heartstrings on the left. They're very good at it. So I don't know what happened in my childhood where I saw injustice, but clearly I am drawn to make a difference I can't just sit by in a train while someone's getting beaten up. I just can't do it. You know, I remember when I was younger, I was going to university one time and some colored bloke threw a university student down the stairs in the train and he started trying to beat him up. I just got between him and forced him away basically off the train and the police got him. But I remember talking to my then girlfriend and she said, why the hell did you do that? Stay out of it and this and that.
No.
And I was like, I don't think you understand. I can't do that. I cannot do that. It's not in me to do that.
Yeah. Fight or flight reflexes. You're a fighter, as am I. We're built that way.
Yeah. And so I don't think there's a version of this where I just step back. And so the real question is, what does that look like going ahead? Don't get me wrong. I want to have kids. I want to get married. I want to find a girl and move forward with my life. But yeah, I can't do nothing. Yeah, I can't do nothing. But you know, the tough
but you're
part,
doing a lot.
I appreciate that. I know you, after we met, you've seen a lot more of like what I do.
Yeah.
But the tough part about music, again, therapy, the toughest part about losing Charlie was, again, we weren't tight. We never even met in person. It was only on Zoom. The idea that when I lost my dad, it was like, there's only a few people that everyone tells you, you've got a following. Everyone tells you, congratulations, well done. I'm proud of you. Thank you for fighting for me. You get these comments all the time in your DMs and your comments, whatever, even in person. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But from the right person, it means everything. And Dad was that person. And after Dad passed, there was really only one person on earth that also could have had that same gravity. And Charlie was one of those people because he trusted me with this baby, this brand.
He was your mentor, really.
Yeah, I mean, teaching people to breathe their values into politics is revolutionary because a people devoid of how the political system works makes it's very easy to manipulate
Oh
them.
yeah.
So that's where I feel like that's the cog that's missing. So I've tried to help that, and that's what Charlie did successfully,
Hmm.
getting Trump in. I craved hearing those words from Charlie. Well done. You did a great job.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we hoped when we trusted you with the brand.
Hmm.
And being robbed of that and then seeing what's in its place,
Something's not right.
it yeah,
Hmm.
it makes me sick. And I knew it in my heart. There's something. This is why I flew to Arizona for the memorial. I just looking for answers. It was just I think a lot of people still feel that it's the door's not closed on this. It's inconclusive.
Well, yeah, we haven't had
Um,
answers.
no.
We haven't even seen, the mortician's report.
Mm,
We don't really know what's gone on behind closed doors.
yes.
Yeah, they're not forthcoming, and Amfest was a shit show. There's so much infighting on the right, and the House is divided right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do believe we're going to lose the midterms. Democrats are going to come into power, and we have to have a very hard reset. And Charlie was the middle ground. He wasn't as extreme as some others, and I think the extremists are going to come forward next, like the Fuenteses. So,
Can I ask you, what do you think comes next? Let's say the Democrats win the midterms. Let's say that they may even lose the Senate but not get a supermajority. And then in 2028, Marco Rubio or Vance
it's going to be
gets put
Vance.
forward. And they lose to the Democrats. What happens then? This is your country. I mean, what
We're going to turn
happens?
into the UK. If that happens, I'm seriously considering just calling Elon Musk and being like, hey, could you send me to the moon? I'm done on Earth.
You're done.
If you don't learn from the petri dish of the world being the United Kingdom that radical Islam, political Islam is going to destroy your culture, if you let in mass immigration again,
Yeah.
men are migrants, we're done. We're done.
Yeah.
They outbreed us in one generation.
Mm. Can I ask you on that? Pauline Hanson was attacked about saying something along the lines. She can be a bit inarticulate at times, but we know what she's saying.
I mean, so can I. It's fine.
Yeah, literally. And then you get fact checked, and it's like, oh, you were one
She
toe out
pronounced
of
the
line.
word wrong.
Yeah, literally, you're
All right,
lacking
I'm tired.
context. She was attacked because she said she slipped out. Basically, she said something along the lines of, "There are no good Muslims," and then she reversed that. She said, "That's not exactly what I meant. It was more that, you can't come to this country and not subscribe to our values and whatever. A true Muslim is this, this, and that, and whatever." Of course, and she said, "Of course, there's good Muslims. Ahmed Ahmed, who stopped the shooters on Bondi Beach, he was a good Muslim." I think a lot of people, including some, let's call them moderate Muslims, have come to the West, have integrated, and they didn't like what they saw on Bondi Beach at all. They didn't celebrate. They're not celebrating, or the martyr, the head of Iran, Khomeini. Do you know a lot of Muslims? Are you friends with a lot of Muslims? And,
Am I friends with a lot of Muslims? No, because, my stuff is pushed as Islamophobic and racist, so people do have that assumption of me.
Right.
No, I've made friends with a few over the years.
Yeah.
We've had some very heated debates over certain things.
Yeah.
And I always say, look, if you come to a country and you integrate, you adopt the values, have your freedom of religion, that's totally fine. The day you start becoming Islamic, because there's a difference between Muslims, Islamists, and jihadis.
Yeah.
And yes, you could say, well, one leads to the other. Okay, very good. Then you need better education. You need more money in the school systems, which goes back to our, pretty much our first point. If you want to worship Muhammad and Allah, that's fine. Don't come over to America with a covered wife. Yeah. That's weird. We don't like that. Yeah. We fought for feminism here. I don't want to see a bunch of dementors walking around the city center. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. And the problem is there's always going to be corrupt men that push for political Islam, which then turns into the jihads. So it's difficult, but It is what it is. Call me Islamophobic. I don't care.
Yeah.
If I was in charge of the Grape Gang inquiry, everything would be out because I'm not scared of being called names. Don't give a shit.
Yeah. And do you see yourself entering politics to actually be cutthroat with that sort of stuff? That would be great. I mean, to see that.
You know, I think if you removed the men and migrants from the UK for voting, just in this context, and you just had the Brits or the grandfathered in immigrants, I think I would win in the United Kingdom. However, you have around 14 million, immigrants in the UK who want me to shut up and go away in the nicest way possible. So I don't think I would win if I ran there.
Again, to pay yourself a compliment, and the Katie Hopkins of the world and the Margaret Thatchers, there's just something about true British feminists. There's nothing like a takedown by an articulate, educated woman on an issue that often a lot of men are too cowardly to talk about. There's just something about it. Seeing some of the old Margaret Thatcher memes, it's just she's had a way with words. And
oh yeah, Papa's in on my luteal phase.
Yeah,
I will destroy you.
and look, to those listening, forgive the tone of the discussion, but these are serious issues. And whilst we are going into the darkness, I did want to finally just thank you for your time coming in.
Well, thank you. You flew all the way from Australia to come here.
Well, yeah,
like
only the best.
Oh.
But I did want to finish with this very encouraging quote, which reminds people of the light of Jesus and of the fact that we win in the end.
Yes.
And it's from G.K. Chesterton, and this is one of my favorites. He says, "The one perfectly divine thing, the one glimpse of God's paradise given on earth, is to fight a losing battle and not lose it." And I'm reminded of many historical examples, and I have no doubt we're in one right now, where it looks like the sun's not going to come up. It looks like that, we are in dire straits.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity to Joan Ark up.
Yes.
To basically arc up and to actually get activated. And
whom shall I send? Here I am. Send me.
Amen. And God, he always gives the hero, whilst the odds are tough, he always gives you just a long enough sword to defeat the dragon.
Yeah.
And that is the true blessing on this earth. The fact that God, he wants you to draw close to him. He wants you to have a relationship with him. And sometimes that does come through the inevitable adversity that this world puts us through.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
God bless you. I think I'm speaking on behalf of all your audience in saying, keep up the great work. You are articulating what many people aren't able to, they just don't have the words to, or the knowledge to, or the wisdom. Yeah.
I think people do have the words, even if it's layman terms. The people have the words. They do not have the freedom to speak in the UK, and I will always speak up for them. And I will probably die trying. So
amen.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Jade.
Thank you.
I consider you a friend, and I really appreciate your wisdom and advice whenever I need it. I really do.
Hey, I've always got your six.
Yep. Thank you. My Candace. To those of you listening online, I hope you enjoyed the discussion. If you had any questions where you were like, Joel, I'm going to put my hands around your neck, you should have asked her about this or that, leave it in the comments. I have no doubt this won't be our last conversation. And if you want to support Jade, I've left her social media in the description. Shoot her a few bucks if you support her work, if you really resonate with what she's saying. And if you want to support this show, give it a like, give it a share, leave a comment. We're being censored every day by the different fact checkers looking for me to put a toe out of line, lacking context in my videos. And when it comes to the comment sections, keep it civil. Keep it civil. Don't kill each other too much. But you can't have good public policy out of a bad public debate. So let's try and improve our debate. But also, if you want to support this show, click the link in the description. If you want some of the merch, like what you see here, the Make Australia Great Again caps, but also anything. Oh, there you go. She's done.
Oh,
she's done the hat.
It clashes
Beautiful.
with the other red, but it's all right.
Yes, very nice. If you want to support the show, it helps so much. And if you guys want to see more conversations, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Bye.